Welcome to the Business Boys Talkin-Business show with your hosts, Brian Magleby and Tyler Price.
That's Jeremy.
Welcome. Look at this. We've got some new digs again.
We do. It's awesome. And I'm not Tyler Price.
You are not Tyler Price, but
No.
2 weeks in a row we've had you here. Tyler,
Yeah.
I know you're in Florida. You're sitting there on the beach. You're sending me all the pictures, but if you want to just stay in Florida, we got a good replacement here for you. He's been here 2 weeks in a row.
We'll swap out.
He'll
come here, I'll go to Florida.
That's right. That would be a good. But you were just in Florida on a cruise too, so
We were, yeah. We had some sun therapy, sand therapy.
you've been there since I have, so I'm not going to hear it. So very good. Hey, Style House has hooked us up again. We decided to change things around, and look at this. We are official Johnny Carson's, Jay Leno's, sitting behind a little desk and got lamps and everything here. We appreciate Style House taking care of us. We've got the hot seat couch here. We are excited for our guest today. As you can see, my voice is struggling a little bit, and
So is mine.
yours. So we got two of us. We are not wearing our masks on here. I'm against the masks right now, but I'm hesitating on putting one back on. But we're glad to be here today. We had a great guest last week, Jay Larson, Idaho Technology Council.
Yeah, exciting stuff he shared, what's going on in the marketplace and the future of economic growth.
Yeah.
I like this part of he shared, we're so much more diverse on this part of the state. I think we're really fortunate to have that base here and to see the growth that we're experiencing. So,
Yeah.
It's here whether we like it or not. We're growing.
It is.
It's how we choose to grow and what we choose to do with it's going to make the difference.
I think that he deals a lot with over in the Boise area, but he gets a breath of fresh air when he comes over here because we have that diverse business nature over here. I met with him after last week, and we got some big things going with the big conference coming over here. Look forward to some big things coming from Idaho Technology Council here on this side of the state, which is exciting because they do a lot of their work over in Boise, but we're excited to have them coming over here. They got a big conference we're working on helping them put together in the springtime. So yeah, Idaho Technology Council, absolutely great. If you haven't watched that segment, encourage you to do so. Also, we've added a podcast. So now we are not only on YouTube, we are also on Facebook. Live with our show Fridays at 10:10, but there's also a podcast, and so you can click on the link on the website to get to that too as well. So, but we couldn't do this show without our sponsors. Let's talk about the sponsors that we have. BBSI, your employer.
Yep. We are dedicated to advocating for business owner success. That's why we exist. So however we can help. So we provide a full suite of services to help business owners focus on what matters most.
Yes.
Their business.
It is. BBSI has been a constant sponsor of our show since day one, and we appreciate that. And then today, you're not only going to hear BBSI at the beginning, but you're going to hear it again at the end. We'll ending our show today with a new segment that we call, it's got your two of your four letters in it.
It does. Total BS.
Total BS.
Business Spotlight.
Business Spotlight. So every week we're going to be highlighting a business on there. We're excited. We got a great business today that we're going to be talking about. And Style House, can't mention them enough. I wished I had a voice to talk a lot more because I could talk all day about Christy Carlquist and the work she's doing with Style House, decor and staging. They have got our staging here done absolutely phenomenal. SBDC, Mrs. Powell's, as Tyler always says, the SBDC is Idaho's best kept secret. If your business needs consulting, you got to check out idahosbdc.org. And Mrs. Powell's sponsoring our trivia that we're going to do at the end of the show. So stay tuned. We're going to be asking a trivia question, and you could win a half dozen rolls from Mrs. Powell's Bakery. So do we have another page of sponsors? There we are. Man Cave Innovations. Man, they're putting together an amazing technology package for our new studio here. Rourke and Burke is just absolutely great to work with there. And we haven't got a lot of that installed yet, but it's coming. We know that we're excited about that. Vulpine Marketing, a lot of work he does keeping our website up to date. The Idaho Innovation Center, where our new studio is. This is just turning into being kind of a big project here.
Yeah, well, you've had a lot of great things going on here with the commercial kitchen that's opening
Launched
up.
last week.
That was awesome. The turnout was amazing. The support was amazing. That'll be a great asset for the community, which is amazing. I love the Innovation Center. There's just so much going on out here. It's fun to see spin-offs that outgrow because of success.
Yep.
And it's also nice to see just kind of the epicenter of entrepreneurship in the area. I've seen garage ideas and side hustles, and people who want to change the world, and all that coming through the door. So I love the resources that we have here.
It is great. The Idaho Innovation Center this whole show is powered by the Innovation Center. We appreciate their sponsorship, and New Line Media. Can't talk enough about Tyson. His videos are becoming so more and more popular, and man, I just can't recommend Tyson with New Line Media. Look him up on Facebook. He does a great job putting together some video ads that can promote your business. So absolutely phenomenal. So appreciate our sponsors. Couldn't do the show without them each and every week. So let's talk about some of the trainings that we have. And I just have to say, I've been recruiting Jared to help me out in quite a few of my classes. One of the classes that we're going to talk about is a systemizing sales class that right there on the top there, it starts in just a couple weeks. Man, all I can say is that this class, every business owner should be there. So mark my word, if you have not taken this class, if you sell a product or service, and I don't know of a business out there that doesn't sell one of those two things, a product or a service, you should be in this class. This class, every time I go to it, absolutely the quality of the content of if you want to learn how to best present your product or service, this is the class you should be in.
No, thanks. I really am passionate about this. Every business can define their own process on how to find their ideal customers, how to position themselves to attract the most valued customers for their business. And it's really a matter of discipline and focus. There are not any such thing as a born salesperson.
Nope.
They come in all shapes and sizes. And so if you want to learn how to be successful in creating a system to succeed in sales in your organization, we'd love to have you be part of that class.
What questions should you ask? When do you ask those questions? How do you follow up? It's just, there's a science to sales, and Jared gets into that with this class. Highly recommend you looking at this class. The 149, here's my guarantee on the class. You will get your value, and I do this for all the classes here. If you don't get your value, I will refund you fully, 149%. I've only given out that guarantee once, and that was because they got COVID and couldn't come to the class.
Yeah.
It was not because they didn't get the quality of the content. So this
they
class,
came back this last time around as well.
No, that's right.
So they
did.
re-registered.
Yes, they did. So you got to check out this class. Hit that barcode, or you can register at idahosbdc.org. But that is an absolutely phenomenal class. The next one I want to talk about is for business startups, and this is called the Business Startup Essentials. And this is Jared's going to be helping me teach a class in this one as well. It is absolutely, if your business is under a year and a half old, this is the class that you need to make sure that you attend. And if you've even thought of having a business, this is a class for you. How do you formulate? What's the right way to set up your business? You got to make sure you have a mission, vision statement, a business plan. What are your growth and marketing strategies? How are you positioning yourself with your brand and marketing and building a team? And absolutely, there's going to be great content. It starts March 6th. We're running it once a quarter. Our first session of this class will be March 6th, so get signed up for that class as well. And I think that's all of our classes that we need to highlight today. So, man, what a great show. I met with this guy a couple weeks ago, and I can tell you, I've heard about the entrepreneurial operating system. Is that right? EOS. I've just known it as EOS for so many years, but I can tell you that I've every time I hear about it, it's just absolutely great things for entrepreneurs. And we're going to have Erik Madsen. He is a trainer with the EOS system, and EOS Worldwide. You might start looking at them, but if you go to EOS Worldwide, EOS.worldwide, EOSworldwide.com, you can learn about what they have. But their coaching programs that they have is absolutely phenomenal. We're going to learn about them today on our show. So before we bring the one and only Erik Madsen on, let's watch this quick 1-minute video that will tell you and give you a synopsis of what EOS is.
If you've hit a wall and your business has hit a ceiling, help is on the way. Tens of thousands of business leaders like you, with 10 to 250 employees, have achieved rapid growth and a more balanced life by running on the entrepreneurial operating system. EOS isn't a computer operating system, it's a people operating system that harnesses human energy through a simple set of tools and principles. You didn't become an entrepreneur to feel burned out or stuck in place. EOS gets you unstuck by organizing the hundreds of challenges you face every day and making them more manageable. You're able to solve issues before they become problems, get the right people in the right seats, make meetings so productive that you actually look forward to them, and build a culture of accountability. When you run on EOS, everyone is working toward the same goal. Your business runs more smoothly and profitably. You break through the ceiling to achieve growth, and you simply enjoy life more. Get started today at EOSworldwide.com.
We'd really like to welcome Erik joining us today. I'm excited to have you here. I was introduced to you about 5 years ago now, and it's been fun to see the journey and what you've taken with it. But before we dive into EOS, we'd love for you to share a little bit with our viewers about your background, because you've had leadership positions, you've been an employee, you've been an owner, you've led international divisions for companies. We'd love for you to just, do a little brief introduction about your background and maybe the significant anchors that have led you to where you are today.
Well, thank you, Jared. Appreciate that. And Brian, thank you for having me on. It was a pleasure to meet with you a couple weeks ago as well, and to learn about the great work that takes place not only at the Innovation Center, but in this great show that you guys do every week. So first of all, thank you. In terms of my background, I'm a Southeast Idaho kid, born and raised in the Rigby area. But right after college, I was blessed to go to work for a small little company here in Eastern Idaho by the name of Melaleuca. You've all heard of them.
Small company.
Joined them back in the mid-90s, and really had a phenomenal opportunity to work with some really, really bright minds, some really great people. That career, what was supposed to be, well, my wife and I thought were going to be about 2 years while we were finishing up some classes here at Idaho State University, ended up being 18 years long.
18.
Yeah, so it went from a 2-year to an 18-year, and it was great. We had some wonderful experiences. The last 12 years of that journey with Melaleuca, I was with their international division. So I had at one point 14 international sales and marketing teams scattered around the country that I was working with, and it was wonderful. I loved it, loved the experience. But true at heart, I'm a small business entrepreneur. And back in the 2012, I got the entrepreneurial itch and made the decision to jump out of a large corporate role and into starting my own company. And I teamed up with a gentleman by the name of Aaron Markham, a good friend of ours.
Amazing guy.
Amazing man. He had an idea, concept of a healthcare technology company, and so we partnered together, and over the next few years built just an absolutely phenomenal business. Loved it. It was great working with small businesses around the country to help them measure client and caregiver satisfaction and really obtain data they needed to make good business decisions. Well, fast forward, like most small businesses, we were experiencing success, but we also experienced those challenges. The challenges with people, the challenges with processes, the challenges with productivity, to the point that we decided we needed to do something else. And that's when we discovered EOS. Actually had a client of ours call us and tell us about the entrepreneurial operating system. And we made the decision to use that as the basis for our business. And so we moved forward to build our business using EOS. And I will tell you, it made all the difference in the world. We went from a small business that was doing good, but not yet great. And once we discovered EOS and started building upon that foundation, fast forward 5 years, we were able to successfully exit that company. I was able to step away from the day-to-day operations and turned that company over to my leadership team. And just in the last 14 months, they've been able to experience 3x the growth of the company, and it's been awesome to see. So after I took a small break from running the company, from the day-to-day operations, took a break after we sold it, decided that I wasn't done. I just turned 50 last year and decided that I wasn't ready to be done yet. And so that's when I decided to become an EOS implementer and to help other small to medium-sized businesses get the most out of their company. So that's what we're doing today.
That is absolutely phenomenal. So you built your foundation at the Melaleuca, then you stepped out and ran your own business, and now you're helping coach other people how to be successful in their business.
Absolutely. And I will tell you, someone asked me the other day, what do you do? What's your job? Where are you working now? And I said, I don't work. I'm playing. I'm playing in the fact that I get to help other people. I take all of the great teachings, the great information, the great insights, the EOS system that transformed our business and our lives, and now I get to work with small business entrepreneurs to help them implement it in their company as well. So to me, it's not work. It's more about helping other people win.
Yeah. So I've got a couple of questions for you. The first one, what I see from my perspective, is that it's not necessarily the best ideas that win, it's the best execution. And we talk a lot about accountability and processes and systems, and EOS is the Entrepreneur Operating System. Can you share a little bit more about just the basic fundamental principles of really what make that system effective for companies?
Absolutely. You know, Jared, really as EOS implementers, what we focus on is three things. We work with the leadership teams of these entrepreneurial organizations to improve the vision, the traction, and the health of their company. And what I mean by that is vision. Oftentimes they have an idea of where they want to go, but oftentimes it's so ingrained in the brain of the entrepreneur, the owner, maybe a couple of members of the leadership team, but how do you get that out and get that vision shared by all throughout the company? Second is we work on developing discipline and accountability. How to just get into this rhythm where everyone is rowing in the same direction. So if you were to be go anywhere in your business, you're able to see everyone rowing and working towards that, accomplishing that goal and that vision. And then finally, health. Too often, leadership teams are not as healthy as they could be. But what we found with the EOS system is that by instilling that discipline, that accountability, that you create this team health that is absolutely amazing, where you absolutely love to go to work every day. You love the people you work with. And just creating that healthiness amongst the leadership team does wonders throughout the organization. And really, it's a matter of 6 areas that we focus on. And I believe this is true with any business, that there's 6 key things you have to be successful. And the first is the vision. You need to know where you're going. And in order to execute on the vision, you have to have the right people. So vision, people, and then third, data. You got to start running your business on solid data instead of subjective emotional feelings that too often we as entrepreneurs run on, right?
Yeah.
KPIs,
absolutely. But not KPIs that are really complex. We're talking about the entrepreneurial version of the KPIs, right? And then once you have your vision, you have your people, and you have the right KPIs in place, then all of a sudden your business becomes very clear. It becomes very transparent, and oftentimes that's where we start to see the impurities. We start to see the problems, the challenges, and also the opportunities that exist. And so we have a system called the issue solving track of how do you take those issues and get them solved so that they don't turn into problems. Number 4. Number 5 is processes. What are those core processes? Get them documented. And then finally, the number 6 is traction. How do you take that vision and get it all the way down to where it's starting to be executed, that discipline, the accountability, so you can start doing really great work.
So you mentioned something that I find really interesting, is that principle of vision, but then accountability. Oftentimes as business owners, we find ourselves beating our head against the same brick wall in that, well, why can't our team just own it like we do? And oftentimes there's an emotional thing there, but there's things that don't happen. There's vision that's not shared, and there's processes and discipline. Can you share us a little bit more about how do you translate that desire to have accountability and what real accountability is and what that looks like in practice with EOS.
Jed, that's a great question, and that is truly something that so many small businesses struggle with of how to take that vision and start getting accountability. And I guess the best analogy I can use is my kids, right? If your kids are given a homework assignment, and that assignment's not due until the end of the semester, when do they typically start working on that assignment?
I know with my kids.
If it's my kids, oftentimes it could be on the car ride on the way to school when that assignment's being worked on. And so with EOS, we take your 10-year goal of where you want to go, and we break that down, not only solidify what that 10-year looks like, where do you want to be, but then what does it look like 3 years from now? And then what is the 1-year plan? What are you going to do this year that's going to set you up so that you can achieve that 3-year goal? But even more importantly than the 1 year is, what are you doing in the next 90 days? And so we take that semester-long homework assignment and we break it into smaller chunks. And we work in what we call a 90-day world. And even on top of that, we break it down into a weekly. So what are the activities I'm doing each and every week? Not big activities. What are the small, simple steps that need to be done each and every week in order to hit your 90-day target? And if you hit your 90-day target, you're more likely to hit your 1 year. And if you hit the 1 year, you're setting yourself up for success at 3 years. And I'll even share, after we started EOS back in 2016, my wife and I had sat down and had put out what our 10-year plan was, what we wanted to accomplish in the next 10 years. And quite honestly, once we got into this rhythm, we accomplished most of those 10-year goals in under 3 years.
Yeah, and you shared that story with me a couple of times, and that blows me away because I don't think, and you guys are awesome, right? But you're not genius in doing something that no one else has ever tried. This is actually a process and a system that anybody can implement. And having that personal experience of what that does in a business, but what that does in a personal relationship in a family is really powerful.
The opportunity to set your business out and have someone you hold the owners accountable to this. Let me relate it to the business that I had a few years ago. I hired a coach just like you to come in. Had he not given me those 5-year goals, 3-year goals, 1-year goals, then broke them down into quarterly goals, I would have never been able to set my business up for the sell that I had if I had just gone on a wing and a prayer. No way could have I got the valuation for the business that I did at that point. So I contribute my success of that business to having a mentor just like you that can come in and set those goals out. Had I not broken it down that I needed to open up one new store every single quarter, I would have never hit my 4 goals per year, my 12 goals or 12 stores in the next 3 years. I would have never done that had he not done that. So absolutely, it's a great proven. Talk about the book Traction and how you utilize that in your coaching.
Absolutely. So the book Traction is a book written by a gentleman named Gino Wickman. Gino is the founder of EOS, and really is kind of the story of his journey. What I mean by that is Gino was in his early 20s and he realized that his family business needed to have a refresh, a restart. And so Gino went to work. It took him a couple of years to fix up his business to a point where it was running great. He continued to manage that business for about 7 more years, and then ultimately he sold it and was able to retire. Well, what he discovered is that after he retired, as he worked with other small business entrepreneurs, that many of the same problems that Gino faced were the same problems that his fellow entrepreneurs were facing. And so he took those same tools, those same thoughts, those same concepts, and started to cobble them all together into what is known today as EOS. And so the book Traction really is the story of EOS and how to implement it in your business. And when we were first introduced to EOS, the Traction book back in 2016, we had just come from a time in our business career where we had just gone through evaluation. Mm-hmm. We had just met with a potential broker to see how much our company was worth. And like most business owners, when they gave us the dollar value, we said, no, it's worth much more than that. And they said, no, it's not. One of the greatest things that business broker also said to us, though, was here's a list of things you can do to improve, to increase the value of your business. And one of the first things on that list was you need to spend less time working in your business and more time working on your business. The
golden thing that entrepreneurs do.
So as we started to read the book Traction, and it started to outline this system for getting the most out of your business, we said, we're too busy running our company. Let's bring an EOS implementer in to help us do this the right way. And so we took everything in Traction, but we brought in an outside implementer to come in and to teach us the right way to implement this in our business. And it's interesting, when we sold that company here a couple of years ago, the valuation that we received was 30 times what they had told us back in 2015. It was over 30 times of what they told us back in 2015, just because we now had a proven system, a solid foundation that we were able to build upon.
Yeah. And that's one thing I love hearing is those success stories, because when I've worked with the businesses in the past and in my private equity experience, we only want to pay for three things if I'm going to buy a business. I want to pay for a team of people who really know what they're doing. And if that team of people is tied to the owner, then there's not an asset there, because the owner doesn't want to work for me anymore. Processes, and this is where EOS, I think, really fits the bill, is do we have systems and processes throughout our entire organization that I'm going to buy, and that's not going to miss a beat. And then the third thing is going to be profitability, which is an outcome of the first two.
Yes.
And so I guess my question for you is, because you've experienced this, is EOS just for entrepreneurs, just for people who are starting out, or is there application beyond that? And I kind of know the answer, but I'd love to hear you talk about that.
It's for everybody. And the reason I say everybody is because there's no silver bullets. There's no magic pill you're going to take. This is all principles that have been around for 100 years, and they're going to be around for 1,000 more. These are just principles to help you grow and to scale your business. And you talk about increasing the value of your business and profitability, people, and process. When we were in the point of exiting, when we were going through the due diligence to look at selling the company, there were 8 consecutive audits going on at the same time. We had IT audits, we had finance audits, we had tax audits, we had every audit you could imagine was going on. Every single one of those attorneys or companies that were auditing us all asked the same question: what is your management system? What do you use to manage your business? And I asked them at the first, I said, well, what do you mean by management system? They said, well, you have an accounting system. A lot of small businesses use QuickBooks. You have an accounts payable system. You have an HR system. You have an IT system. What is the system you use to manage and lead your business? It's the most important line item in your P&L is your people. So what system are you using to manage and to lead the people? And that's when it dawned on me, EOS was that system for us.
Yeah.
It just like you have your accounting and your IT and your HR system, EOS was the management and leadership system. So to your question, the sweet spot, if you will, in the book Traction, it talks about the sweet spot is entrepreneurial-led companies that are more focused on growth than they are the status quo. The status quo probably scares them more. These are people that want to grow, they want to do great things. And probably with between 10 and 250 employees is an ideal sweet spot. Now, with that said, I have clients I work with that have a team of 4, and they're doing great work. And so, but the sweet spot being between 10 and 250 entrepreneurial-minded organizations.
Yeah, that's a great. I think I was going to guess that a minimum that you'd want to have is 8 to 10 type of employees would be the type of people that you'd want to. Those are the type of people that in order for them to take their business to the next level, they have to have those policies and procedures in there in order to take it, or else they're just going to either stay at the same level or go backwards. I've even seen some companies do that.
And what I think most likely, Brian, you bring up a good point. I think at the time you've got 8 to 10 to 12 to 20 employees, you may have hit the ceiling, right? You may have come to a point in your business where you've experienced some frustration. You're not sure how to keep things moving forward. And so I think that's where EOS can come in and make a big difference. But I also would say the principles that we see in the book Traction that EOS teaches is available for anyone, regardless of the size, because they are true principles. It's all about vision, people, data, issue solving, processes, and finally traction. And so be able to take those, whether you're a brand new startup or you've been around for 50 years, being able to get really good at each of those 6 areas will allow you to maximize your business and really have the life that you always wanted from your business.
Yeah.
Talk about the program that you utilize. How long does it take to go through the classes and things like that?
It's a great question. In terms of the process, this is not like a seminar, right? This is not a seminar. You don't come in and dabble with this, a la carte type stuff. To work with an entrepreneur, for example, with my clients, it starts off with what we call a free 90-minute meeting. That's where we sit down for 90 minutes and assess your business and how you're doing, and is EOS the right fit for you? After that 90-minute meeting, if you do decide to move forward, then the journey takes about 2 years. We meet every quarter, in the beginning a little more frequently, but we get into this cadence and this rhythm to help you learn the EOS tools, to learn the EOS process, and to be able to have successfully implemented. The goal of EOS and EOS Implementer is not to stay in your business forever, but it's to teach you these principles, these tools, to help you execute on your business. And then you graduate and you move on. Again, that average is about 2 years, some less, some more. The gentleman who came out and helped us implement EOS, his name is Dan Hawks. Shout out to Dan Hawks from back in Minnesota. Dan, I talked to him just a couple weeks ago, and he still has clients that have been with him for 10 years. They just love that accountability. They love that having to check in every quarter with someone else besides the leadership team that's going to hold them accountable for doing what they said they were going to do.
These people become your friends that you do this. The guy that was in the same exact position, 12 years ago 15 years ago when I hired him. When I sold that business, guess who was the guy that was standing right next to me the day we announced it to the company? Was him. And I called him because I was freaking out on my flight home the day before, and I said, I can't go through with this. And he said, I'll be there and help you. And 7 o'clock the next morning, when we had the 7:30 meeting, he was there right beside me doing it. And that's the kind of relationship that you can gain with these type of people.
I was going to say, and that's why, I referenced earlier, people ask me, where are you working now? I'm not working, I'm having fun. It's because it's so much more than business, right? It's about relationships. It's about developing those friendships. It's about helping people win. And just like your coach, that's what I love most. In fact, when I have a session with one of my clients, I'm usually up somewhere between 3:30 and 4 o'clock in the morning the day of the session, not because I'm worried about anything. I'm excited because I know what they're going to experience. I know that's how that's going to change their business, to change their personal lives, their professional lives with the work that we're going to do that day. And I just get excited because I want to see them win. Very much in the way that I was able to win, the way that my business partner, Aaron Markham, he's been able to win. Aaron's also an EOS implementer, has been. Transitioning into some new business ventures for himself right now, but that's just what drives us, being able to see people get the most out of their business that maybe up to this point they haven't been able to.
Being an entrepreneurial is magical, but it's only magical if you do the right things.
Absolutely.
And that's what this EOS system can do for you. Is there anything else that you want our audience to know about the EOS system?
That is a great question. To me, EOS was the answer to so many things. I had been with a phenomenal company, with Melaleuca. I had been mentored by their top executives. I would call Frank Vandersloot at any time and seek his advice and his counsel. He was always such a great mentor to me. McKay Christensen, Brian Carmack. I could name all the executives there that mentored me for so many years. But when I stepped away from the corporate world and despite all this great training, I was lost. I knew what I needed to do, but I found myself chasing squirrels here and there. I just didn't have, I couldn't plug into a system. And so for me, despite knowing what I knew about business and having experienced a lot of success, I was feeling lost. We were feeling lost. And the EOS system offered that structure, offered that system that we could plug in and really begin to experience the success that we always wanted from our business. So I would tell you, if you're going through a tough time, maybe you're not having the success that you've always dreamed of, maybe it's time to step away from the day-to-day and take a look at what you can do to spend a little more time working on your business. And I would highly suggest getting a copy of this book, Traction.
We're going to give it away today, so we're going to give that away here in a minute. So.
Getting a copy of the book, Traction, reading that and saying, what can I do? Does this make sense for me and my business as I start to spend less time working in it and more time working on my business?
Very good. That is the crucial thing right there. That if entrepreneurs would take the focus to realizing what it takes for them to work on their business versus in their business, it's just the day and night difference that you can make with a business is so much different if you understand what it takes to work on versus in your business. So,
absolutely.
Very good. Well, thank you so much. This is a great product for so many businesses out there throughout Idaho, and we hope that you'll look into it. What is your website again? So
if they go to eosworldwide.com /Erik-Madsen.
ERIK.
ERIK-Madsen. Or you can also go to emmanagementsolutions.com. That's my own personal company website, and that links back to the EOS website. So emmanagementsolutions.com or eosworldwide.com /Erik, ERIK-Madsen.
You can learn everything that you need to there about the EOS program. So absolutely phenomenal. Let's give this book away here. So we're going to ask a trivia question here about the EOS system. So I got to say, you saw them I had them bring me this book. I meant to bring it up here for my personal collection. We're going to give away this book. It is absolutely a phenomenal read. If you are an entrepreneur in the 5 to probably 25 range, this is a must read.
Absolutely.
And so let's give it away. We're going to ask a trivia question here. Help us out here, Erik. Oh,
the 6 principles.
What are those? Ooh, that would be a real, that'll make you do a little bit of work there. The EOS system has 6 principles. And if you go to their website, I was on there last night and I saw it. So you're going to have to do a little bit of work to get that, but you can go to eosworldwide.com and see the 6 principles. Put my cell phone number up there if you can, Tyson. Text me, and you will the first person that can tell me what the 6 principles are. Simplified. Just keep them simple.
You know what? I just got a new shipment of books in because I give books away to all my clients all the time. I just got a new shipment in. I've got a couple of extra books if you want to give away more than one.
3 books. Let's give away 3 books. 3 books of the Traction. Can't say enough about it. I had someone that gave me this book a few years ago, and they started crying of the impact that this book made on their life. And I won't mention his name, but absolutely a great friend, and this changed his business. This book did. So absolutely phenomenal that can do that for. So if you're watching this, maybe it's not at the time that the show gets launched, but text me. We may get a few extra copies, but you just text me the 6 principles and you will get a copy of the book Traction. So, and you'll also get a little bonus. The first person that gets us there is going to get a half dozen cinnamon rolls from Mrs. Powell's. So we appreciate Amy Romrell over there at Mrs. Powell's giving us half a dozen cinnamon rolls. Absolutely a great gift there. So phenomenal. Talk about this ending quote that you have here, and maybe we can put it up on the screen as well.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, Brian, in preparation for this, you asked me what one of my favorite quotes is, and it actually came from an experience I had a few years ago with Glenn Beck. I was attending a conference sponsored by Melaleuca, and Glenn was the keynote speaker, and I had a chance to be in the green room behind stage. And I was visiting with Glenn, and I said, if there was one bit of advice that you could give to someone, what would you give it? And again, this is paraphrased, but this is what he said, that people are not successful and people are not failures, that They experience moments of success, and they experience moments of failure. And then he asked me a very profound question. He said, where are you today? And that is always just, I've always thought about that of, yeah, we may be having great times in our lives when things are going great. Be grateful, right? Take a picture, because it could change tomorrow. But there's also moments when we're having difficult times, when we're being challenged, that it feels like the sky is falling in on us. Be grateful. What are the things we can learn from those moments? And I know as small business entrepreneurs, we go through a lot of that, right? Every day. But being able to learn from the highs, learn from the lows, and just ask yourself, where am I today on this journey? And what do I need to do to move forward to the next step, whether that's personally or professionally? So I've always appreciated that advice that Glenn gave me that day.
Absolutely phenomenal. Great. Well, thank you for being here, Erik Madsen, eosworldwide.com/Erik, ERIK-Madsen. Look him up on there. I encourage you to do it. What a great program the EOS is. This book could be yours. Don't be shy. Text me. I'd love to get a text from you, and you will most likely get a copy of the book. So very good. We're excited to end the show each and every week talking BS.
Yeah.
I do that really well. I talk a lot of BS, but if people understand, what is BS?
Yeah, so we love to highlight businesses. And so we have committed this year to have a business spotlight of somebody who is doing great things in the local community. And this week we'd really like to highlight Expressions Vinyl out of Shelley.
Great company out of Shelley, Idaho.
And a lot of people don't even know about these guys. This is one of our local success stories that literally started in the basement from a stay-at-home mom's idea during a downturn in the last big recession that we had in 08 and 09.
Yep.
And now they have grown to a point in time where they are either the number one or the number two direct-to-consumer hobbyist supplier of vinyl. So you think about the hobbyists and the crafters that do all sorts of things with vinyl pieces and parts. They're the number one and the number two in the country.
Yeah.
Out of Shelley, Idaho.
Out of Shelley, Idaho. I interviewed a kid that had worked there, and he couldn't talk enough about the success of that company.
Yeah, phenomenal growth. They've had to reinvent themselves on a number of occasions. You talk about an entrepreneurial mindset. One of the biggest catalysts for growth for them was actually the COVID pandemic. Yep. And it not only drove a lot more demand through the organization, but it actually crafted or identified, as Erik had mentioned, impurities or flaws in their operation. And they didn't have the luxury of shutting down and fixing these things. But the ownership, I'm just totally impressed with figuring out how to solve for the problem that will allow them not to just 3 or 4x, but they had an 8 to a 10x in a very short amount of time. And that creates different pressures on the organization. And they found a way to succeed. They're going through another reinvention right now, how to make this sustainable long-term. Even though they've got more than a decade behind them, how do they set the business up for success? They do great things culturally. They actually follow the principles in traction, which has been a great catalyst for them to move forward. Very culturally focused on taking care of their people and making sure they're doing the right things across the company. So I can't see enough great about Expressions Vinyl. If you get a chance, check them out.
Check them out. Look them up. Google them. They'll be found. That's their logo up on the screen there. And so absolutely a great company out of Shelley, Idaho. So look them up. We love to talk a little BS at the end of every show, and they get to be our business spotlight of the day. So very good. Check out Expressions Vinyl as well. So thank you for tuning in for another session of Talkin' Business. So we appreciate that. We got some exciting shows coming up in the weeks ahead. Next week we'll be doing one of our first shows on food. So it'll be we've got an exciting guest coming on for that. So tune in next week with our Focus on Food Final Friday. That's a lot of F's. Focus on Food Final Friday. So that will be our show next week. So thanks for tuning in to Talkin' Business. Have a great week. Make it a good weekend.
The purest essence of what makes a business tick is sometimes fleeting. It's not always available to draw on demand. So if you can capture these things on video, you're capturing magic in a bottle. My name is Tyson, and I own New Line Media. I really believe that the keystone to any successful business is the connection that business builds with the people that it serves. Traditionally, these attributes were all achieved through interpersonal communication. It came through authentic connection. Then the arena of the internet introduced a whole range of resources that expanded what businesses were capable of achieving. But the trade-off for these new resources was that authentic connection with the people that we serve. And without that connection factor, businesses become commodities, just a name and a price tag. So the dilemma businesses face today is how to preserve that sense of connection in a digital space. And I believe that the answer to that problem is video. At New Line Media, my goal is to help you take your influence, your passion, your spirit, your essence, and make it available to anyone, at any time, no matter where they are. When the power of video is truly harnessed, it can become so much more than just a flashy way to promote yourself. Video can help your business build trust in those you serve or want to serve. It can build familiarity. It provides information and education, and most of all, it can pull your customer into your space for a few moments and give them a taste of what working with you would be like. It provides them with that in-house connection experience, no matter where they are. And that is what I focus on, because it's all about making a connection. So if you're a business owner who's ready to shift gears and unbind yourself using video as the business asset that it should be, then go to my site and submit a request to work with me. If I think I'm going to be the best fit for you, then I will reach out and we will schedule a time to meet.